we're going to be looking at cross-platform gaming on the Switch.
Nice.
Yeah. We've got a bunch of articles here.
Okay.
All about games and their features. And basically what we want to do is help you guys figure out which cross-platform games are best for you. Your style, your preferences, all that.
Ooh.
We're actually looking at 24 games in total.
Okay.
So there's a lot to cover here.
All right.
But we've got some really interesting ones.
Okay.
Like, there's one shooter where you can actually steal mass from your opponents.
Interesting.
Which affects your size and abilities.
Huh.
That's Morphies Law, Remorphed.
Okay.
There's a firefighting game that has a sort of like a dark comedic twist on capitalism.
Interesting.
That's Embr.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have the classic Quake.
Yeah.
But this is an enhanced version with, modern updates and stuff. So to kind of make sense of all this, we're going to break things down by genre.
Okay.
So we'll look at shooters, RPGs, strategy games, all that.
Sounds good.
So you can compare and see what you might like.
Cool.
So let's start with shooters.
Okay.
Paladins is a team-based shooter. Fantasy world.
Right.
It's got 50 customizable champions.
Wow.
But what really stood out to me from the articles is this game has been around for a while.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
Like, it launched in 2016.
Right.
But it's still really popular. And one reason for that is because they support crossplay across PC, PlayStation, Xbox.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can play with or against your friends no matter what platform they're on.
That's awesome.
Which is great for building a community.
Yeah, definitely.
So next up is Spellbreak. Now, this one's a battle royale.
Okay.
But you're not just using guns and grenades.
Right.
You're using elemental magic.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so fire, ice, wind, all that.
Nice.
And the cool thing is you can combine them.
Really?
Yeah. Interesting.
So the article mentioned freezing an enemy and then shattering them with a rock spell.
Ooh, that sounds painful.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ouch.
And you can do all that with your friends on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Awesome.
So let's switch gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a game with a living board?
A living board? No, I don't think so.
Okay.
What is that?
So it's this game called Faeria.
Okay.
It's a digital card game, but you actually place land tiles to shape the battlefield.
Wow.
So it's not just about playing cards, you're building the arena.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's crossplay with PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Okay.
But the best part is you can get all the cards in under 50 hours of gameplay.
Wow. So no endless grinding.
Exactly.
That's great.
All right, so let's talk about Gloomhaven. It's a tactical RPG.
Okay.
You're leading a band of mercenaries through a really dark and dangerous world.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And your decisions actually shape the story.
Really?
Yeah. How so?
Well, for example, at one point you have to choose between saving a village from bandits or going after a powerful artifact.
Interesting.
And that decision has real consequences.
Wow.
So it's a really immersive experience.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you can play it with friends on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Nice.
All right, so this next game you've probably heard of,
Okay.
Apex Legends.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. This hero shooter is super popular, and for good reason.
Yeah, it's a great game.
But what's really cool is their ping system.
Oh, yeah.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, it's really innovative.
Especially if you don't like using voice chat.
Right.
You can communicate with your squad. You can mark enemy locations, call out loot, all without having to say a word.
That's awesome.
And you can play this with friends on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch.
Wow.
Now, Royale Reforged. This battle royale has some really unique twists.
Like what?
Well, first you can choose a class, okay? Then you can forge weapons during a match.
Interesting.
But the best part is when you get eliminated, you turn into a chicken.
Wait. A chicken?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously, it's hilarious. And it gives you a chance to escape and maybe revive yourself.
Wow.
Well,
I've never heard of that before.
yeah, it's pretty wild. And you can play it with your friends on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch.
Cool.
All right. Remember I mentioned that firefighting game with the capitalist twist?
Yeah.
Embr?
Right. Embr?
Yeah, so it's set in a world where public firefighting services have been privatized.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you become this freelance firefighter competing for clients and battling these crazy blazes.
So it's like a satirical take on the gig economy.
Exactly. but with fire.
Wow.
And it really encourages teamwork and communication.
Makes sense.
Because you're coordinating with your fellow firefighters
Right.
to extinguish those fires.
Right.
Rescue clients.
Cool.
All that.
And it's cross-platform.
Yeah, PC and Switch. Okay, so Aliens. Fireteam Elite.
Okay.
Survival shooter set in the alien universe.
Right.
You team up with 2 friends, or AI,
Okay.
and you go on these missions battling hordes of xenomorphs.
Nice.
Yeah. And the game really captures the tension and horror
Yeah.
of the franchise.
For sure.
Lots of jump scares,
Oh, yeah.
strategic combat. The only problem is it doesn't support the Switch. Yeah, it's only crossplay between PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Okay.
But we've got plenty more to talk about.
All right.
Remember that shooter where you steal mass from your opponents?
Yeah, Morphies Law, right?
Yes, Morphies Law, Remorphed. So when you hit an opponent, they shrink,
Okay.
but you grow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this affects everything. Your movement speed, your health, everything.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's not just about shooting, it's about strategically changing the battlefield.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you can play this with friends on PC and Switch.
Awesome.
So let's move on to Brawlhalla.
Okay.
Now, this is a platform fighter. It's got a massive roster of over 60 legends.
Wow.
So if you're into Super Smash Bros,
Right.
this one might be for you.
Okay.
It's got frequent updates, a thriving esports scene, and all these characters have their own unique fighting styles and weapons.
Cool.
And it supports crossplay across PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, iOS, and Android.
Wow. That's a lot of platforms.
Yeah, pretty much everyone's invited to the party.
Nice.
Okay. There's a brand new title coming out. Harry Potter, Quidditch Champions.
Oh, wow.
So you can live out your Quidditch dreams.
That's cool.
Soaring through the air, chasing the snitch.
Nice.
And they're aiming for a really authentic Quidditch experience
Oh my God.
with realistic physics
Cool.
and detailed recreations of the broomsticks and characters.
Nice.
And it will be cross-play across PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
That's awesome.
All right, let's talk about Roller Champions.
Okay.
Now, this is a fast-paced, team-based roller derby game. Interesting.
Yeah. You compete to take the ball, complete laps around the arena, and you score by throwing the ball through a goal.
Okay.
And there's some cool tricks you can do.
Oh, cool.
Can you tackle your opponent?
Absolutely. Tacklings is a key part of the gameplay.
Nice. And is it cross-platform?
You bet.
Yeah.
PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
Awesome. Okay, so let's move on to something a bit more traditional. Super Mega Baseball 2.
Okay.
It's an arcade-style baseball game. And it's great for all skill levels.
Cool.
So it's got intuitive controls, realistic physics.
Right.
But it also has a lot of depth for experienced players.
Okay.
You can create your own teams, design logos and uniforms. You can even change player attributes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's cross-play across PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
Cool.
All right. For basketball fans, we have NBA 2K Playgrounds 2.
Okay.
This one's more arcade style. Over-the-top action, flashy moves.
Right.
And it's got a roster of over 400 NBA players.
Including legends like Michael Jordan.
Nice.
And you can play different game modes. Season mode, Playgrounds Championship, online multiplayer.
Cool.
And it's a great way to relive classic NBA moments or create your own dream matchups.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's cross-play across PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
Okay.
Okay, so let's end our shooter discussion with a true gaming icon, Quake.
Oh, yeah.
This remastered version has been enhanced with visual upgrades.
Okay.
It's got the original soundtrack by Trent Reznor.
Nice.
And even new content.
Wow.
And it offers cross-play across PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
That's awesome.
So you can frag your friends no matter what platform they're on.
It's amazing how many cross-platform options there are for shooters.
Yeah, right.
It's great.
But we're just getting started. We've got a whole lot more to cover. When we come back, we'll be leveling up our adventure and exploring the vast world of RPGs on the Switch. Okay, so we've blasted our way through a ton of shooters, but now let's straighten our blasters for something a little bit different. We're gonna jump into the world of RPGs on the Switch, and a lot of them, you guessed it, have crossplay.
Cool.
So RPGs are all about like really immersing yourself in these different worlds and stories.
Right.
And with crossplay, you can share that with your friends no matter what they're playing on.
Exactly.
So first up is this game that caught my eye because it's just so unique.
Okay.
It's called Mushroom Wars 2.
Mushroom Wars 2.
Yeah, and as you might guess, you're commanding armies of these adorable mushroom creatures in these like real-time strategic battles.
Right.
So it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
And the gameplay is actually really deep.
Really?
Yeah, you're not just sending waves of mushrooms at each other. You have to capture buildings, manage resources. You have to use these heroes with special abilities. Oh, wow. So it's not just like a simple little kids game.
It's really strategic.
Okay.
And you can enjoy all that with your friends on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
Nice.
So now let's go to a world inspired by ancient Japan.
Okay.
Onigiri.
Onigiri.
Yeah, it's an action MMORPG. And it has this really unique weapon-changing battle system.
Oh, cool.
So you can like switch between different weapons during combat,
Wow.
which creates this really dynamic fighting style.
Interesting.
Yeah, one article even said it was like this high-speed, action-packed ballet of weapons,
Wow.
which I thought was a cool description.
That's a cool way to put it.
And you're not just fighting alone.
Okay.
You can team up with other players.
Right.
Or even NPC companions.
Yeah.
And you can go on these challenging quests and explore this world that's full of Japanese mythology.
Oh, cool.
And of course, you can play it with friends on other platforms because it has cross-play across PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's switch gears again. Tribes of Midgard.
Okay.
So this one's all about teamwork and exploration. It's set in this procedurally generated world based on Norse mythology.
Interesting.
So you and your tribe have to gather resources,
Right.
craft legendary items, build up your village's defenses, and battle all these mythical enemies.
So you're basically just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you have to do it together.
Right.
You can't just go off on your own.
So it's a very cooperative game.
Exactly. And each playthrough is different because the world is procedurally generated, so you never know what challenges you're going to face.
Yeah, that keeps things interesting.
And you can experience all of this with friends on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
Nice.
Speaking of cooperation,
Yeah.
this game has taken the world by storm. It's a great example of social gaming, Among Us.
Oh, yeah. Among Us.
It puts you and your friends on a spaceship.
Right.
But here's the twist. One or more of you are imposters who are trying to sabotage the mission and kill everyone else.
It's classic.
It is.
Yeah.
It's all about deception, teamwork.
Trying to figure out who to trust.
And it leads to some really hilarious and intense moments.
For sure.
And you can play with anyone, anywhere, because it's cross-play on PC, Switch, iOS, Android, PlayStation, Xbox.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Okay.
It's like a global game of hide and seek, but in space.
Oh.
Okay, so let's switch gears again.
Yeah.
Something a little more solo-friendly.
Okay.
This one's great for when you just want to get lost in a good story and explore a vast world at your own pace.
Okay.
Crashlands.
Crashlands.
Yeah, so it's an open world crafting adventure with a really unique sense of humor.
Yep.
You play as Fluxtabes, a galactic delivery driver who crash lands on an alien planet.
Okay.
You're supposed to retrieve your packages, but along the way you're going to be crafting items, taming creatures, and uncovering the secrets of this planet.
Sounds fun. So it's very open world.
Yeah, and it's got a surprising amount of depth.
Really?
Yeah, you're not just running around collecting stuff. You're building bases, learning new crafting recipes, battling enemies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The humor is great too. It's very witty and self-aware, and the characters are really memorable.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just a really fun game to play.
Cool.
And you can actually play it with a friend on PC thanks to its crossplay with the Switch.
Okay.
So let's switch gears one more time. Kart racing.
Right.
Touring karts.
Touring carts.
So this one caught my eye because it offers this really dynamic racing experience.
How so?
Well, it's compatible with both VR and non-VR platforms.
Oh, wow.
So you can choose how immersive you want it to be.
Okay.
So imagine racing through these tracks that are full of surprises and obstacles.
Right.
But you're actually feeling like you're in the driver's seat.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's got 22 tracks, customizable carts, power-ups, online multiplayer for up to 8 players. And it supports cross-play across PC, PlayStation VR, Oculus Quest, and Switch.
That's awesome.
So you can race against your friends no matter how they choose to play.
That's really cool.
Now, if you're looking for something more chaotic,
Okay.
like less about structured races and more just about messing around with cars,
Right.
Crash Drive 3
Crash Drive 3.
might be for you.
Okay.
So it's basically a car stunting playground. You can explore this massive open world, do crazy stunts, collect over 50 vehicles, customize your ride, and compete in all these wacky events.
So it's just pure fun.
Yeah, it's not about being the best driver, it's just about having the most fun.
I like that.
And you can share that fun with your friends on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, thanks to crossplay.
Nice.
All right, let's move on to a game that requires a different kind of skill set.
Okay.
Strategic thinking.
All right.
So, if you're a fan of grand strategy games, Sid Meier's Civilization 6.
Okay.
So you build and manage a civilization across different eras, from ancient times to the future. This is one of those games that can just suck you in for hours.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's known for its deep gameplay, the historical accuracy, the really engaging diplomacy system.
Okay.
You can choose from a bunch of different civilizations, each with their own unique abilities and units.
I like it.
And you can lead your people to victory through warfare, diplomacy, cultural dominance.
It's like a history lesson in a game all in one.
Yeah, exactly. And you can actually play it with your friends on other platforms.
Really?
Yeah. It has crossplay on PC, macOS, Linux, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, iOS, and Android.
Wow, that's impressive.
Pretty much every device imaginable.
Nice.
Okay, let's dive into some intense space combat.
Okay.
Overload.
Overload.
It's a 6th degree of freedom shooter.
Okay.
That's kind of like those classic games like Descent.
Right.
So you pilot this heavily armed gunship through all these intricate levels, battling robots, completing objectives.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, it's got challenging level design, tight controls. It's not just about shooting everything that moves. You have to think strategically.
Right.
Use the environment to your advantage.
Okay.
And the soundtrack is amazing.
Oh, cool.
It adds to that intense atmospheric feel.
Nice.
So it's one of those games that's great to play with headphones on.
Yeah, for sure.
The only problem is it doesn't support crossplay with the Switch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's only between PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Oh, right.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from whimsical mushroom battles
Yeah.
to epic Viking sagas to intense space combat.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's clear that crossplay is becoming more and more common in RPGs.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is great for gamers who want to share those immersive experiences with their friends.
Exactly.
But hold on to your controllers because we're not done yet. When we come back, we'll be exploring a final category of games that didn't quite fit into those previous categories. It's a mix of genres that offer these really unique and surprising cross-platform experiences on the Switch. But here's a question for you to think about. With crossplay becoming so popular,
Yeah,
will it matter what platform you're on in the future?
that's a good question.
Yeah, will people just choose games based on the gameplay and the community?
Regardless of the console.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
It is.
So we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Which cross-platform games have you been playing on the Switch?
Yeah, and what are you hoping to see in the future of cross-platform gaming?
Let us know,
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
and we'll catch you next time.